Hey, my friends, welcome to this week's episode where I'm going to be talking all about the difference between capacity and capability. Because after all, just because we can does not mean we should. So let's get into today's episode. All right, so on today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about the difference between capacity and capability and why, depending on our capabilities, diminishes our capacity as high achieving entrepreneur type of women overall. Capabilities means that yes, you're a fully capable woman. We know that now, right? You've achieved a lot, you can do a lot, you can manage a lot, you think well, you do well, but your body is paying the price. And your capacity to do these things from a body perspective is dwindling and is becoming lower and lower. And we know this from symptoms of burnout. You might not be sleeping well, maybe you can't fall asleep or stay asleep. When you wake up, your mind is running and you don't have time for yourself anymore. So those self-care things that you want to do, insert whatever it is. Is it to go for a walk in the evenings? Is it to have some quiet time in the morning? Is it to maybe to go out and do something for yourself? You just don't find time or create time or have time to do these things. You might be very reactive around your food choices, maybe not thought out. They're just based on quick access and hunger, even though you know better and you don't want to be eating like this. You keep doing it over and over again because having, again, the capacity to think about what you're eating, how you're going to eat it, all of those kinds of things, you just don't have it in you. And then you start your morning with coffee and you're over caffeinated. You might be short and reactive with your family by the end of the day, and you just feel like you have nothing left to give. And also, as a woman in midlife, when you're running on this, the low capacity, your hormones start to become imbalanced because of the chronic stress. So you're in this fight or flight freeze state most days. You're doing everything and doing it from a nervous system state of not feeling safe or trying to find safety through controlling. Or you freeze where you know what to do, but you just can't get yourself to do it because you're likely very exhausted. But another thing that I see from the freeze state is that you know there's something that would be better for you to do or that you want to be doing differently, but there's so many other things that give you more of an instant gratification, are easier to do, or they seem very pressing that they must be done right now. So you end up ignoring needs in an effort to complete things outside of yourself. And I want you to see how you are very capable. And that doesn't mean that you can't continue to do what you are doing from a body perspective. Now, here's the thing, you absolutely can continue to do what's very important to you with great outcomes without sacrificing your body. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's episode. So, why do capable women like you keep pushing past their capacity limits? What's driving you to ignore these warning signs that your body is giving you, even though you know better, right? And you're just not doing better? It's usually because you believe everything is on your shoulders. And also, you've kind of created this circumstance, if we're being honest. At one point in your life, it did serve you to do more, to people please, to not have your own boundaries. This maybe allowed you to quickly grow your business or create more revenue, more profit. And maybe as a little girl, it allowed you to have a sense of love or belonging and like you were doing something right. And then maybe in high school, you were able to prove yourself in sports or you were able to move to the top of your class. And then you used this conditioning as an adult as well. Although it served you really well at one point, we also have to realize at what point is it no longer serving you and that you can continue to create success, but you don't have to do it by sacrificing your body. And at this point in our life, it's just become a very easy thing to push through weakness, push through feedback from our body. Just be willing to be the hardest worker in the room and you'll get what you want. And I want you to see that it doesn't have to be this way. And it's actually not complicated in a way to take care of yourself when it comes to the actions, right? You know what to do. You know actually how to do it. It's more of not letting your ego get in the way. And the ego is there to keep you safe and to make sure that you live out your current beliefs. So I like to think about the ego in two different ways. I like to make it very tangible, that it's a part of your nervous system that keeps you safe, right? It's scanning your environment. It also scans your beliefs and kind of flags the beliefs that it doesn't align with. And then that allows you to create an action to make sure that your action aligns with your belief. Also, the ego, I like to think about it in a more of a woo-woo way, is that we have these like kind of like balls of energy. And I believe that the ego kind of sits within this ball of energy within us as well. And so we have these different states of the ego, and it's there to keep us safe and to make sure that you live out what your current beliefs are. Your current beliefs are probably that you have to be a really hard worker. You have to work harder. You have to check all the boxes. You have to complete all the tasks. You have to be the one to control your day, your schedule, but also everyone and everything around you. And you've also probably taught those things around you to depend on you by doing everything for them. Insert your work, insert your family, insert all of the things. And again, this comes back to your ego and wanting to control, because if you can control, you have a sense of safety in your life. So I want to talk to you about what this actually looks like to start to break this down. The first thing is that we need to establish some boundaries, because although you are capable, doesn't mean that you actually need to be doing all the things in your life. By doing all of the things, you are lowering your capacity to be able to do what you're really good at. So what does it actually look like to start honoring capacity instead of just relying on your capabilities? What are the first steps to take? And I want to look at this through a boundary lens with three things: your time, your energy, and your nutrition. So when it comes to time, it looks like getting rid of the things that don't actually produce for you. I'm going to refer to a book called The Big Leap. It's by Gail Hendricks. I read this at least twice a year. I have to get a new copy because my copy fell apart. I absolutely love this book. And it refers to two different states that I'm going to help you understand in this podcast. But there's a zone of excellence and there's a zone of genius. The zone of excellence is where you are very comfortable and you can produce very well and you're very efficient at it. You're very good at it, but it does not necessarily light you up or use your most unique talents. Your zone of genius, however, uses your most unique talents and drive and thoughts and emotions, and you're really able to produce very well from your zone of genius. And many times we are spending time on things that don't actually drive the business or also are part of our zone of excellence. Those are things that can often be handed off to somebody else. You can hire, you can use automations, you can use AI. AI as a business owner has really helped me be able to stay in my zone of genius by focusing more on client producing activities so that my clients get better results, thus grows the business. So instead of spending time on analytics or spending time on math or spending time on things that are not either even in my zone of excellence and below that, I don't waste my mental power on things that I don't actually need to be doing the meticulous workaround. I instead am able to hand some of that off to I do hire in my business. And I also use AI when I need to so that I can use my brain power and my time for things that are in my genius. Sometimes we just refuse to look outside the box because we let our ego tell us that we need to control it when in fact, we don't need to control it at all. That sense of control is faux sense of safety. It's not actually creating safety at all. And to be honest, is breaking down our body. Next, I want to talk about energetic boundaries. And this looks like saying no to the things that don't light you up. So looking at understanding what is your zone of excellence versus what's your zone of genius. You don't have to go to every meeting. You don't have to join every board you're asked to join. You don't have to go to every appointment reminder that tells you you're a year overdue. Your teeth are not going to fall out if you wait until your less busy season to go to your dental cleaning appointment. I hope the dentists don't come after me after this episode, but insert it for whatever it is. Sometimes it can just wait a couple of months, right? You can say no to some of the things that maybe your kid's school asks you to do. You can say no to extra family things. You can say no to anything that does not light you up. You get to have the power and be in charge of your life. When you're saying yes, even though you want to say no, you're denying yourself a new opportunity to create what you want in your life. also in your body. And also with energy, I want to drive this home because sleep is so important, especially as women in midlife who are busy and chronically stressed, is that we start to lose the hormones, melatonin and progesterone, that help us sleep really well at this phase of our life. One of the drivers to these hormones lowering quicker is due to nervous system dysregulation, your fight, your flight, your freeze responses. These will drive these hormones even lower, even when you're still cycling and ovulating and producing hormones. So if you find yourself waking up at night, not able to fall back asleep, or you have a hard time shutting your brain off to even fall asleep in the first place, it's a really good idea to look at the stress in your life to say, is this impacting my ability to create melatonin and progesterone so I can fall asleep and stay asleep? And it looks like protecting the time that you should go to bed and not looking at all the tasks that need to be completed before bed and completing them first, like folding all the laundry, putting the dishes away, making sure your countertops are sparkly clean, and making sure that there's vacuum marks on the carpet. Delaying your bedtime because of what this does gives you a false sense of completion. You want them to be done so you can feel a certain way. Yes, the tasks are completed, but your body doesn't feel good, restored, or taken care of because you are tired and underslept. Versus if you take care of your body first and it feels good, the tasks will become done. The tasks do not become a priority over the care of your body. And then with nutrition, when it comes to thinking about how you actually want to eat during the day, and we never actually sit down to ask ourselves, what do I want to eat? How do I eat? How do these foods make me feel? Which ones don't make me feel good? What times of the day do I actually have better energy when I eat at this time? What times of the day do I stop eating so I can sleep really well? And we never stop to ask ourselves that because we've been following so many rules and diets and strict structures for most of our lives when it comes to food. This is so important. And when my clients first join me, they go through something called the first 30 days. And this breaks down all of the food rules they have and the conditioning that they have around eating. Because here's the truth, as a high achiever and a female leader or entrepreneur, you are a hard worker and you are willing to set goals and achieve goals and to push your body to the side in order to achieve them. But it doesn't work that way when it comes to nutrition at this point in our life. We have to make sure that we're listening to our body and tuning into our body. When we do that, we actually gain the power and control that we want to have that lives with our body instead of against our body. And this looks like eating throughout the day, like eating your meals, not anything mind blowing or breaking, not delaying your meals, not running on cortisol just to get through the next meeting, and then not getting home in the evenings and feeling out of control around food because you're so hungry. Now, I know what it's easy to think is that when you start implementing these changes, there's always going to be pushback from those outside of you. That's where it's going to go first, right? So maybe from work, your team, your family, maybe even from yourself. So, yes, definitely from yourself. But you might be saying, but if I don't do it, it won't get done. My family needs me to do XYZ. My business will fall apart. And I want to challenge you to find proof that if you don't do it, it doesn't get done. When you use communication, when you use thought out processes, when you actually think about how you would get it done, if you weren't doing it, of course, and also, of course, things left undone, if you just ignore them, won't be done. But I'm not talking about ignoring things. I'm talking about finding a new owner, finding a new way for energy to take care of this thing. Yes, of course, your family needs you, but how much of what you're doing for your family is actually conditioning them to depend on you too much? One of the things I've really tried to implement myself as a mother, as a motherless mother, is that my mom had 28 years to teach me everything I needed to know. And when I think about my kids, I don't want to leave them possibly tomorrow with them depending on me for absolutely everything. I want them to have the agency to be able to do the things, to be able to know what to do, how to do them, versus depending on me for direction and action on everything. That's the biggest and the best gift I can ever get them as my job as their mother. And as far as your business falling apart, your business will not fall apart because look at how many businesses are functioning really well without people overworking. It's possible. If you go out there and look, it's possible. It's not necessarily praised upon, or people aren't always showing that part on Instagram, but I know it's happening. Overworking doesn't create safety. Overworking creates a sense of safety. And by working differently and by giving your body the capacity it needs to run really well for a long time. The truth is, your business will fail in the future if your body has zero capacity because you've conditioned your business to run solely on you. What happens when this body stops working the way that you want it to work? When you really can't get out of bed in the morning because you're so tired and you can't even come up with your next sentence in your client meetings? When you possibly develop an autoimmune disease where your body has actually started to work against you because you've ignored it for so long? What happens when your body isn't working and you're broken down so deeply that your business does fall apart? Now is the time to create more capacity in your body by building a business that is not dependent on your body breaking. So, what does it look like when you start making these changes and honoring your capacity? What changes do I typically see first when we start to implement boundaries? Is that energy changes really quickly. It doesn't take long for us to see an energy uptick, generally in the first few days, just by changing how much and when we eat. The body will take as long as it needs to completely heal and adjust, but the upticks are really quick, and that can be really fun. The brain fog, the lack of clarity, the sleep all start improving fairly quickly. And when this happens, now you're able to put in productive energy into your business, not by overworking, not by hustling, but by giving true, authentic energy to your business. Then revenue grows, clientele starts to grow. People are well taken care of in your business, not because you're hustling, but because you've created safety in your body and your business. I know some of you listening right now are recognizing yourself in everything that I've talked about and seeing yourself in this pattern, but thinking, I don't have time to fix this, and this is my busy season. And I want you to think about how many times have you told yourself that you don't have enough time? Probably 12 times today already. How long have you been sitting on things that could have been changed at this point, but you still haven't changed them? All because you said you didn't have time and you're not thinking about how to own your time instead of letting your time run you and your time run your business. It's so normal to think up front about what the investment is instead of thinking about what you're missing out on and if you don't take action. So let's talk about the cost of waiting. What are you actually losing by putting this off another month, another quarter, another year? The cost is having energy and not feeling miserable every day. I mean, what's the point of having a career that gives you the utmost freedom, how much money to make, how to use your time, and what you want to do when you want, when you feel miserable in the vessel that's holding you here on earth? I mean, what's the point when this is how you're going to feel? And also, your family is getting what's left of you instead of what's best of you at 5 p.m. And the feelings that you have around that, the guilt, the remorse, the wishing it was different, the hoping it will be different next month, is costing you far more energy than just making a few changes to create better energy and reduce your overall stress in your body so your business and your life can thrive. It's costing you more to stay where you are than to create new boundaries and be able to feel good in your body and your business. So here's what I want you to do. The emotional cost of staying stuck is often higher than the effort to create the change. You can actually download my free resource, The Morning Guide for the Female Founder, which will help you move out of fight, flight, or freeze in the morning. It's also going to identify which states you typically wake up in. There are just a few simple steps that will create sustainable energy all day, and you'll be able to find that link in my show notes or go to my website, mindfullywell.com/morning, and you can download it right there. Remember, your capabilities are not in question. You are incredibly capable, and that's beautiful. But capability without capacity is a recipe for burnout. So make sure to head to the show notes and grab the free resource. And I hope you enjoyed this episode because I will see you next week.